I was editing a video recently about why atheism is not a logical ideology, and I realized yet another reason why I hate atheism. And it even ties into why I hate determinism and why I hate a lot of left-wing beliefs. I hate what I think we should call ideological parasitism. I hate belief systems that have to pretend to be other belief systems in order to convince people that they could be true. If your belief or ideology exists as a parasite to another ideology, then your ideology is not reasonable. For example, hardline determinists. They cannot really make sense of moral agency. In their belief system, they're never going to be able to explain to you reasonably why we should hold people accountable for the actions they commit. If your actions are determined by your environment, then it's your environment and all prior material conditions that caused you to act the way you did. I've covered this several times because people like Sam Harris have excuses for this, but always this is going to lead to a dystopian view of justice where you arrest like two people who have the genetic potential to create a child that can be a murderer. Because when you ignore individuality and agency and you just look at cause and effect, that's the same as arresting the child when he's an adult and has committed murder. And so ultimately what determinists end up doing is act as though they are compatibilists without conceding that they're compatibilists because they don't want to concede that they're partially wrong. They'll say something like, "You don't understand determinism. We understand that people have agency. We're just not going to call that free will because we don't understand how compatibilism works, and it seems silly to us that free will could exist in a deterministic universe." And the same is true of atheism. You've seen this term agnostic atheism pop up recently, and it's because they have to subsume agnosticism to make sense of their beliefs. As I discuss in the video I mentioned at the beginning, theism and atheism are not intellectually comparable. If you believe in a God that can have a personal relationship with you, then your hunch that he exists isn't actually a hunch. You can believe that by him you have been led to believe in him, that you have this personal relationship with him, that you have faith. You can't do that as an atheist, though. If you have a hunch, then you just have a hunch. And so then, atheists either Mott and Bailey fallacy their way into thinking that they can disprove God in general because they either can or think they can disprove a specific religion, or, like I said, they are a parasite to agnosticism. They often ignore the difference between agnosticism and atheism and say, well, disbelief is a type of lack of belief. Yeah, but disbelief is not the same as neither disbelieving or believing. Atheism is not agnosticism, and it is not compatible with agnosticism. You can't shift the burden of proof and claim that we have to assume that things don't exist until they are proven to exist. No, things are just unknown until they're known, and in theological debate, that's the agnostic position. And when you call yourself an agnostic atheist, what you're saying is, I know that I don't know or that I can't know, but despite that, despite my better judgment, here's what I want to believe. And this continued Mott and Bailey of ideological beliefs is just such a modern problem. It's pretty much what the left does for everything. They want you to think that they're conservatives, essentially, classical liberals, that we the people are the government and we own what we make, we own our own property, and then they centralize the means of production in the hands of the state and everything is statist. And if you point that out, they'll be like, no, you just don't understand.